All right, fam, we are live. Welcome to today's session. I am particularly super duper excited that you are here. So let's get started. Call your friends, call your family, and let us know where you are joining in from because today is going to be a great day. We're going to wrap up the Focus Masterclass. It's going to be a great one. So, call your people and come together. Let's talk. Let's grow together. Let's become together. Let's stretch together. All right. Awesome. Wow. What a day. What an experience. What a day. What an experience. I am excited. So, yep. Welcome, 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 welcome. We out here and all of that. So let's get going. We are live. All right, so welcome to today's class. We are continuing from yesterday's session. And yesterday we started a conversation around first what focus is all about. We looked at 5 different definitions. We also looked at the anatomy of focus. We looked at a breakdown of what focus really is all about. All right, we looked at the anatomy of focus. We looked at the types of focus. We looked at 6 different types of focus, and we kind of broke down the expectation for the different types of focus. And then we went on to look at focus specific questions, questions that we need to ask ourselves as excuse me, as regards focus. Questions that we intentionally need to present ourselves with. And then we looked at the cost of lack of focus, opportunities that we've lost, relationships that we've lost because of lack of focus. All right. And then we also looked at the heart distractors. We looked at the 4 different heart distractors, very 4 different heart distractors, and we were able to actually have that conversation about the very different ways while our heart can distract us and why our heart can be the very thing that stands in our way. Today, I want us to begin this conversation with strategies to maintain focus. Different strategies to maintain focus. Now, focus cannot be learned overnight, but there are different things that you can do to ensure that you sustain a level of focus in understanding what you're doing, where you're going to, and how that you're going to go there. And one of the first ways is to pay attention to your habits. We talked about the power and the import of self awareness. And so you must really, really pay attention to your habits. You must pay attention to your habits. You must pay attention to your habits. You must begin to pay attention to the things around you. Don't just assume. Don't just assume. Don't just assume. Don't just assume. You must pay attention to your habits. Number 2, build your strengths and outsource your weaknesses. We've been taught that it's very, very that we should we should begin to pay attention to our weaknesses. We've been taught that we should all grow our weaknesses, get better at our weaknesses. But the truth is that we are at the point in our lives where we must now intentionally begin to learn to outsource our weaknesses, the things that I'm not good at. Maybe I'm just not meant to learn them. And so, how do I get better at it? One of the ways that we can get better at it is by outsourcing. Who is somebody that is good at it, and be willing to either collaborate with them or work with them. Collaborate with them, work with them to be able to know that, okay, right, I'm growing, I'm getting better. I can be able to focus on the things that really matters. Because many times when we pay attention to our weaknesses, we realize that we're getting better at things that don't really matter in the long run, things that will not really pay us in the long run. So what do? We begin to pay attention to build our strengths and outsource our weaknesses. Okay, I'm not great at social media. Instead of spending all that time learning about social media, I can now begin to outsource my media. Outsource. Like, really, really learn to outsource. Work with people, collaborate with people. See somebody who is better at it than you are. All right, see somebody that is better at it than you are. See somebody who is going to be intentional about building a relationship. Pay attention to somebody that you can work with, you can collaborate with to get better at things. Number three, be clear about the big picture. Don't just see the small pictures, don't just see the small things. Be clear about the big pictures. Be clear about what you're trying to achieve. Be clear about who you're trying to become. Be clear about what God is teaching you in the journey. Be clear about it. Be very, very, very clear about it. Number four, build and protect your relationships. Don't use people. Part of focus Part of focus is your ability to harness your relationships, your ability to begin to collaborate with people, begin to know which people are your friends, which are your acquaintances, which are your mentors, which are the people that you can work with. Okay, so it's very, very important that you build your relationships, you work with your relationship. It's very, very important. Number five, eliminate fear and worry, build confidence. Don't allow yourself to be so full of fear that you're crippled by your fears and you don't move. Many of us, many of us will not allow ourselves to just be crippled by your fears, be crippled by your insecurities, be crippled. Don't allow yourself to be crippled. You must now intentionally begin to eliminate your fears, eliminate the things that you just need to begin to work on yourself, work on things, right? And just begin to grow intentionally. Don't let your fear stop you. Don't be so afraid that you allow the paralysis of fear to stop you. The paralysis of fear cannot stop you. The paralysis of fear cannot hinder you. The paralysis of fear cannot stand in your way. Don't allow the paralysis of fear to be what hinders you from achieving and arriving to destiny destinations. So build your confidence. Stay in circles and relationships that build your confidence. Stay in places where your confidence thrives, where you're encouraged and not where you're put down, where you're giving constructive criticism and not criticism that is meant to destroy the little bit of strength that you have within you. So that if we're telling you you're doing something wrong, we're not telling you to destroy you or to stop you from growing, but we're telling you to help you. We're telling you to make you better. We're telling you to help you grow. We're telling you to understand the journey that you are partaking from. All right? So, number six, are you with me, everybody? So far, are you with me? Number six, learn to ask. Learn to ask. So many of us are afraid to ask. It's almost like there's a fear of asking, a fear that you don't want people to ask questions or you don't want to be asked questions. And there's just this fear. And we have to learn to ask questions. Okay, how can I be better? How can I do better? How can I partner with people to grow better? What am I going to do? Do you understand? So you must learn to, that partnership is very, very important. That partnership to ask, that partnership to become, that partnership to grow, that partnership to thrive. You must learn to ask. Okay, you must learn to even ask for constructive criticism. Okay, what am I doing that will not help me? What am I doing that will cause me to struggle? What am I doing that will hinder me from getting to where I need to get to? And you need to ask those questions. You need to get the feedback and you need to allow yourself to grow. And then be consistently persistent. Don't just be consistent today and then leave it tomorrow. That you would never grow that way. You would never make progress that way. You must be consistently persistent. Be consistently persistent. Be consistently persistent. Don't stop. Don't take no for an answer. Don't just give up. Don't give in. Not just like that. You must be consistent about your persistency and be intentional about it. Refuse to take no for an answer. Refuse to take no for an answer and be consistently persistent. All right. Number three, take decisive decisions. Take decisive decisions. Take decisive decisions. Don't be confused. Don't be confused. Be willing to take decisions even when you are afraid of the outcome. Take decisive decisions. Be firm about your decisions. Be firm about your expectations. Be firm about who you're trying to be, what you're trying to achieve. Take very decisive decisions. These are decisions that will help you. These are decisions that will change your life. These are decisions that will empower you and will help you grow. So take very decisive decisions and own your decisions. Really own your decisions. Own your decisions. Own it. Don't let another person do it for you. Just own it. Own it. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. And own it. Whether you're rejected, own it. Own your decisions. Number eight, handle setbacks with grace. Handle setbacks with grace. Like, seriously, you cannot begin to actually frustrate other people because you faced a certain setback in your life. Like, it's not fair to people that you now begin to treat them as byproducts of what you're facing, byproducts of your problems. They are not byproducts, right? So you must learn to handle it with grace. Okay, this happened to me. It didn't happen to me. It happened for me. Okay, this is what's going on in my life. How can I get better? How can I do better? I failed the first time trying this. What can I do differently to help me see a better result at this thing that I'm committing myself to do? So you have to learn to now begin to, okay, this happened. This is not the end of the road. This happened. This is not all that there is to me. This happened. This happened. Don't just stop at this happened. Learn to get unstuck. Don't let your bend be your end. Because it helps you to lose focus when your bend is your end. And then number 9 is declutter your life. There are people that need to go. There are things that need to go. There are relationships that need to go. There are several things that need to go. That it's just not working anymore. And you can't keep pampering nonsense. And so it needs to go. It just needs to go. Those people, they've been in your life for all the wrong reasons. They need to go. You've been managing that relationship for a while. I don't think that relationship deserves to be managed anymore. And so those people need to go. You can't keep pampering them in your life. You can't keep permitting their offers in your life. So it's time to grow. It's time to grow. It's time to become. It's time to thrive. And you must do it intentionally. Does anyone have any questions so far? Number 10, live and walk around your purpose. If it's not your intention, it should never command your attention. If it's not your intention, it should never command your attention. And so the meaning of that is this: you cannot just allow things in your space because of how you think it feels or you feel it feels. You cannot just allow people in your space because you just feel like, well, I'm bored, I don't have friends. You give yourself the right to be selective about the people that you permit in your space, in your circle. Everybody shouldn't be a part of your life. Everybody should not be in your personal space. Everybody should not know what's going on in your life. Everybody shouldn't be in your life in the first place. So you must get to that place where you're decisive, where you are actually in that place of growth, in that place of becoming, in that place of questioning. You begin to question things. How does this help me? How does this strengthen me? How does this how does this help me to become? How does this help me to understand where I'm going to? How does this empower me? How does this empower people in my space? You must begin to ask yourself all of these questions, and you must have a clear answer to them, right? You must have a clear answer to say, okay, this is what's going on, this is how it's going on, and I am willing enough to ask myself these questions and answer these questions straight, looking myself in the face and saying, okay, this is what's going on, and this is how it's going. You must be willing to get there. If not, you will struggle. So everything is not permissible in your life. Everything is not permissible in your space. Everything is not permissible. Everybody is not your best friend. Everybody is not your guy. Everybody that is doing everything should not command your attention. Like people shouldn't just come and tell you, "Oh, come and go somewhere with me." Where is somewhere? What does somewhere look like? Are you willing to sacrifice your time like that? Do you understand? Everything is not acceptable. Everybody can be a part of your life. Everybody can be a part of your inner circle. Everybody can't know your life secrets. It's not permissible. So you must do something to ensure that it's not permissible. It doesn't happen. All right? Extremely important that you understand this. Now, I want to go into the focus hacks, and I really want you to pay close attention here. I have about 6 to 7 hacks that I know will help you. So, you can apply all of them, you can apply some of them, but know which one works best for you at this particular phase in your life. Remember that your seasons are different, and so your priorities are different. While I'm going to share so much, it's now up to you to know, is this attainable with me? Does this apply to me? And I try to get things that will cut across board and cut across experiences, because your experiences are very, very important. Number one hack. But before we go, I want you to see this quote: focus and follow through now, or experience the devastating pain of regret later. Focus and follow through now. Focus and follow through now. So that means that I can't just be where I am right now casually. I must learn to really pay attention to my space, to my circle, to understand that there are consequences for my inability to focus now. And those consequences will not be as understanding as my present phase is. So, for example, what you don't do now, nobody is going to come and meet you and say, you did not read your book now, you did not study now, you did not do this now, you did not do that now. Nobody may come and necessarily meet you and say all of that to you. However, a time is going to come in your life where you want to maybe take a coaching course and you're not able to take that course, not because you're not qualified to take it, but because you no longer have the time. The things that you could do now in focus, right? You're now struggling with it because of lack of focus. And so you must learn to now begin to be focused, to begin to think about the big picture, see the big picture, understand the big picture. You must begin to see, okay, it's time for me to grow, right? It's time for me to experience this differently. It's time for me to live differently. It's time for me to see a different outcome, a different possibility. It's time for me to thrive. I can't afford to struggle. I can't afford to just be this person. I must grow. And part of your growth process is in your ability to now begin to look at yourself and say to yourself, okay, this needs to be done. This is how it needs to be done. This is why it needs to be done. Regret is not a good experience to have. We can't keep having regrets and facing regrets, and Oh, I wish I did differently. Oh, I wish I did better. Instead of spending time to regret, why don't you spend time now to grow? Why don't you now spend time to ask yourself those questions so that you don't regret later? So focus and follow through. Focus and continue. Focus and keep going. Don't just stop. You need to learn to just keep focused, keep your gaze straight and fixed. There's so much about to be unlocked within you. So let's get started on our hacks. Number one, the TADA formula. TADA. When you want to show someone something really cool, you have this whole ta-da, you know, this is what I'm hiding, this is what I'm unveiling, right? So the TADA formula is think, ask, decide, act. Think about it, ask questions, decide, and act. Think about it, ask questions, decide, and ask. I'll say it again. Think about it, ask questions, decide, and act. Do things without thinking about it, thinking about the cost, thinking about what it would take for you to get those things or achieve those things. So you must spend times to evaluate the pros and cons, evaluate the consequences of your actions, because if we do not begin to think in the light of consequences, then we will never actually begin to see that our actions have effect. And so we must begin to think in light of consequences. Okay, this thing that I want to do, what is the adverse effect of it? This thing that I want to achieve, what is the adverse effect of it? Right? This thing that I'm trying to do, how will it affect my tomorrow? How will it affect who I'm trying to be? How will it affect what I'm trying to achieve? How will it affect the destination that I have in mind? And so we must begin to think before we ask questions. Think about it. Have a basis first, and then let your basis decide or determine the kind of questions you would ask. I know they said there are no stupid questions, just stupid people, but I believe that there are certain questions that when you ask them, you would feel like, I should not have asked this question, or this question was not what I should, this is not the way I should have worded it. So, unless you think about it, you won't be able to come up with those questions the way that they should be asked, right? So, you must learn yourself to come to that place where you're asking the right question, you're asking the pertinent question, you're asking the question that needs to be asked per time. Okay, what needs to be done? How does it need to be done? Where do I need to be? Why do I need to be there? Right? So you're asking these questions. You're seeking to know these answers. You're seeking to push past your fears and into these new experiences, and you're asking, like consciously asking, okay, what's happening here? Right? Who are these people? What value is this relationship bringing? So that, let's say, a guy or a lady, you've been spending a lot of time together, you can now begin to ask yourself, okay, what are we achieving by this closeness? What's the aim of this our closeness? Like, right now, whenever they see me, they see you, and everybody's assuming we're in a relationship, and we've never had a conversation about a relationship or anything. We've not had such a conversation. So, how do we grow? How do we grow past our fears? How do we grow past everything and just push ourselves to be who we're meant to be? So these are things that we need to now begin to take into consideration. Okay, we're spending too much time together, and after asking questions, you now come into making decisions. Okay, we're spending too much time together on the phone, and it's breeding feelings and emotions that should not be there. I was telling somebody one day and I said, I don't see why people cheat. The only reason why I think people would cheat is because they've become so people have become so terribly fixated on a lie that it's hard to believe the truth. People have been so fixed on an opinion that they so want to believe that they don't want to believe anything else. So it's now very, very important that there's that self-control, right? That control of what outcome am I trying to build? What am I trying to achieve? What am I trying to what am I trying to get to? Where am I trying to get to? What am I condoning that I should not be condoning? Ask yourself questions and sincerely answer for yourself. Sincerely answer for yourself and tell yourself, okay, this is what I'm doing that I should not be doing. These are the conversations I'm having. I should not be having. I should not be in these spaces. I should not be with these people. Very important. Does anyone have any questions so far? So the first one is the TADA formula. The second one is the double A formula. I call it the double A formula. That's agreement and accountability. Agreement and accountability. This is so powerful, and this is one thing that we should never ever forget. No matter where you find yourself in life, you need to be intentional about these two, the double A formula. Don't just um don't just care Sarah out of life. When you get to that point of your decision, agree with yourself. Okay, this is what I'm trying to achieve. This is who I'm trying to become. This is where I'm trying to go. This is how I'm trying to do it. Like, you must come to that place of agreement and then be accountable to authority. Be very accountable to authority. Let people in authority over you just know that this is happening in this person's life. This is what's going on. This is what this person is struggling with. This is what this person is handling that they don't know how to handle. Okay, they've tried all they can, but now this is the place where I step in to help them. Let people know how to help you. Be accountable. One of the things that I tell people who come for clarity sessions with me is, you know what, have a growth plan. Have a growth plan. Have a growth agenda so that when it's time for you to grow, right, you can just come and say, okay, this is the plan of my growth. Oh, this is where I am. This is what I need to do. This is what I'm trying to achieve. This is how I'm trying to achieve it, so that we kill that level of excuse, because you will not grow if you consistently give excuses. I'll repeat it again. You will never grow if all you consistently have to offer is excuses. So you need to be able to grow and now be accountable. That's why we have coaching sessions, we have mentorship sessions, we have people that are speaking to us. Okay, you're not supposed to do it like this. You're not supposed to You're not supposed to answer this person like this. Your response to this person was too rude. Your response to this person was not acceptable. This is not acceptable in our space. This is not acceptable in our circle. You see, when you begin to have conversations on that level, when you begin to have conversations on that level, the conversations are a lot different. The conversations are a lot different. The conversations are no more. The conversations are now no longer. I want to eat breakfast. I want to eat chicken. I want to eat this. I want to eat that. The conversations are now meaningful conversations that will birth an experience that cannot be questioned. Many of us are having very questionable experiences. And it's like, no, you shouldn't be having such questionable experiences. You should be willing to grow. You should be willing to become in your process. You should be willing to go on that journey that will set you on course for who you're trying to become along the way. So, accountability and agreement. Agreement is more like a body, soul, spirit thing. Like come into agreement with yourself. Have that personal agreement that this is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. Oh, agree with yourself first so that when you now come out, when you now come out again, you now need to know that this was acceptable, but not anymore. This worked, but not anymore. This was how it used to be, but this is not how it is now. So that you'll be able to see when your seasons have changed, when stuff is no longer working for you. You understand? So it's very, very important. So, does anybody have any questions so far? Focus hack 3 is the 4D formula. The 4D formula. 4D formula. What is the 4D formula all about? Dump it, delegate it, defer it, or do it. It means that when it comes to actions and decisions, you don't have to do everything by yourself. You don't have to carry everything on your own. So that means that you have to decide, am I dumping it? Am I going to defer it? Am I going to delegate it? Or am I going to do it myself? Because now you need to know how to live in the order of priority. So you need to now begin to live intentionally in the order of priority. What is important to you? How is it important to you? Why is it important to you? Do you understand? You need to know that. You really, really need to know that. Know what's important, know what's not important, know what's a distraction. At every point in your life, no, oh, this is a distraction. This shouldn't command my attention. So dump it, delegate it, defer it, or do it. Either way, you don't have to be at the center of it all the time. Like, it's not you doing it all the time, it's not you at the center of it all the time. You have to know that, oh, okay, am I following this person? Am I doing this? Do I really want to do this? Do you understand? You need to now get to that place where you just know that, I'm not doing this one, I'm not supposed to be doing this one, this one is just not for me. You shouldn't be attempting to do what you should be delegating, and you shouldn't be attempting to delegate what you should be doing. So you must have this consciousness that there's an order of priority. What is important? For example, if you have a baby, you cannot delegate breastfeeding your baby. Like you can't delegate it. It's not something that you say, um, oh, my baby, it's not my responsibility. Let me just find somebody else to delegate my baby's training to. No, it's not something that we do. It's not something that we do. We're not delegating their growth. We're not delegating their process. We're not delegating who they are meant to be. We're not doing that. We're not. No delegation. You know that there are things that you even need to dump, or you just be like, this is not necessary to my growth. This is not necessary to my journey. This is not necessary to what I'm trying to achieve. This is not necessary to who I am trying to become. And so I'm dumping it. So you must learn to dump it. All right. Very important. Hack number 4, the world formula. The world formula. This is like one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite because I don't know, but I just find it's one of my favorite, and it's just bear with me and accept that it's one of my favorite. All right. So why is it my favorite? Because it's kind of all encompassing. You work deeply. You embrace boredom. Many of us are afraid of being bored. Like you are almost afraid of like, I don't want to be bored, or I don't want to be bored. No, you have to embrace boredom. Be comfortable with being bored. Be comfortable to thrive in boredom. Do you understand? Know what to do with boredom. Just know what to do with boredom. Then, number 3, limit social media. One of the things that social media does is that it encourages this imposter syndrome, because you go to social media, and all of a sudden you're hearing things, you're seeing things, and the whole God when mindset. God when, God, I'm not your grandchild. God, I'm this. God, I'm that. God, I'm this one. God, I'm that one. No, no. You must kill that social media pressure. Let social media teach you, but don't live on social media. Like, one of the things that I think was Deborah Squad ladies, I told this, I said, you need to actually come and say to yourself, okay, I'm spending too much time on Facebook, and now put a timer on your Facebook. I can't remember the last time I spent over an hour a day on Facebook, because I limited my social media time so that I can have enough thinking time to create originally. Let my creation not be external, let it be internal. Let my creation not just be something crazy, and then drain the shallow people around your life, people that are putting you under undue pressure, people that are pushing you into certain levels of competition that is not your business. You're not in competition with anybody. Grow steady, grow at your pace, grow steady, grow at your pace. Because the truth is this, and let me say this clearly. If you want excuses, you will find them. If you want solution, you will find it too. If you want excuses, you will find them. If you want solution, you will find them too. So whatever it is that you're looking for, you will find it. The choice is in your hands. So with this world formula, you can choose to focus on your work, focus on what you need to, who you need to be, focus on what you need to do. Just focus, keep your eyes fixed. Learn how to be okay with being bored. The fast-paced life can get draining easily, and so that's why you have to learn how to be okay with being bored, be okay with being by yourself, be okay with having to think within or live on your inside. Just learn it. You need to learn it. You sincerely do. You need to learn it. Number 5 is the SC8 formula. Stop, cut, act. Stop, cut, act. Stop, cut, act. What are you stopping? Decide what you want. Determine your course. Re energize your mind. So you stop what is not necessary. Stop the baggages. Stop the garbage. Just stop it. Number 2, cut. Flex your no muscle. Learn how to say no. Like, learn it. Learn how to say no. Learn how to be comfortable with the word no. Learn it and learn it well. Don't let your nose be more than yes. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Let your nose be 90% and let your yeses be 10%. Because when you say more no's, you realize that you have been wasting time by saying all the yeses. Come for my party. Okay, yes, I'm coming. Do this, yes, I'm coming. Do that, yes, I'm coming. You have so many yeses, and you almost are now looking for time to do things that are very important. So cut down unnecessary things. Cut down unnecessary things. Subtract yourself from the equation and learn on automation. Learn automative messaging, automative responses, so that you can get to things at your own pace and you're not always under pressure to perform. Move to the place of automation. How can I automate this thing to ensure that it's done? How can I automate this thing to ensure that it's where it needs to be? You must learn automation. Number 3, clone yourself or better delegate. If you know that you cannot clone yourself, learn how to delegate. If, okay, for example, now you want to braid your hair, braiding your hair will cost you money to go and do it. But if we now decide to braid ourselves, it may be cheaper, but hear me, but it will take you time. If somebody else is doing my hair for me, all I have to do is sit down there and then they can do my hair for me and I pay them for their service. Clone yourself is replicate yourself so that you are not the one doing everything. You're not the one everywhere. You're not the one doing everything. So, number three act, plan your ideal day, week, month, and year. Plan, 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 plan. Learn to plan. Learn to plan. Learn to plan. You must learn to plan. Number three, prioritize your tasks. Everything is necessary, but everything is not expedient. So learn to plan. Finally, beat interruptions, beat distractions, beat it. Seriously, beat it. All right. Number six, and I believe it's the last one. I hope so. Yep, it's the last one. Yep. All right. So, number six, it is SC6 Formula. Step back, clear distractions, and simplify. Step back, clear distractions, and simplify. What does it mean? When the age of distraction, so you must know when something is a distraction and when something is pertinent to your process. So step back, right? And then understand when to disconnect from the crowd, when to disconnect from, when to disconnect. Just know when to disconnect. When, okay, I shouldn't be online right now. I shouldn't be doing this right now. Know when to disconnect, where to disconnect, and how to disconnect. Very important. Very, very important. And then focus rituals. Have your own focus rituals that are, this is what I do to focus. So maybe it could be like playing music, just playing music. Go ahead and play some music, maybe some jazzy music, maybe not the, the Igbo Ikwokrikwo music and all of that. No, not that. That's not the one. It won't help you focus. So have your own focus ritual. When you want to be focused, you can just play like solemn sounds and all of that, and focus and practice stillness. Have those things that will help you to be able to build your focus. That's your way of stepping back. Then clear distractions. You don't need to respond to everything. I've made up my mind, and I've been saying it and people didn't get it, but I made up my mind that I won't answer messages where you would send me hi. If you send me a message and the best you can do is to say hi to me, I won't answer you. Why won't I answer you? Because I don't have time to come and start bantering with you. If you can't leave me a full message of what you want, then I don't have that strength to be going back and forth with you. Hi, hello, how are you? I'm fine. And you? Have you eaten? I'm also fine. Have you eaten today? Are you okay? No, send me what you want to send me at once so that whenever I come, I can respond to you. And then let go of the need to stay updated. I want to know what's happening on social media. I want to know what's happening in my space. I want to know what's happening on Twitter. I want to know who they are dragging on Twitter today. I want to know what's happening on Nigerian Twitter. You can never know everything that is happening. So you must make up your mind and actually consciously know that I won't always be updated. I won't always get it right. I won't always have it all figured out and have it all together. So it's very, very important that then you learn the value of distraction. Distraction is very expensive. You just must be willing to know if you're willing to pay it. Distraction is very expensive, but you need to look at yourself and tell yourself, am I willing to pay this? Am I willing to pay this price? Is this what I'm willing to pay? If you're not willing to pay it, then you better kill it and not allow it to go. Is it too expensive or is it affordable? Number three, simplify. You have to create an uncluttered environment. Unclutter your space, unclutter your time, create an uncluttered environment. Number two, slow down. Slow down. Sometimes you need to take a deep breath. Slow down. You need to slow down. You need to slow down. And then find simplicity. Let go, prioritize, and act quickly. Let go, prioritize, and act quickly. Let go, prioritize, and act very quickly. Be prompt on your feet, like think fast, think quickly. It's very, very important that you learn that. So, with these few points of mine, does anybody have any questions before we call it a day? Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions whatsoever? So, next week, we have another hangout. So this was supposed to be last month, but we had to move it over to this month because of scheduling issues. But this month's masterclass or hangout will still be holding next week. So please don't come alone. Come with your friends and your loved ones and all. We're gonna deal with how to deal with poverty mindset and entitlement mindset. We're going to really, really address it and deal with it. And on the 19th, we're going to have a ladies' hangout, the Godfident woman, the Godfident woman, the Godfident woman. I really hope that what you've learned today is something that you can apply, not just for now, but for the rest of your life so that you can grow and you can see progress in all that you're desiring to become. Really, you must be intentional about where you're trying to go to and how you're gonna get there. Very important, really. So Have a wonderful evening. The replays are available for you. You can listen to it as many times as you want. And then don't forget to share with your friends as well so that you can all grow together. Anyways, have a wonderful evening and thank you for coming out. Good night, everybody.